Hello, beloveds, and welcome back. This is Soul Sisters of the Violet Flame coming back again with the Seed and Sickle. In this video, we're going to pull a card from the Dawn, we're going to pull a card and read from the Dawn guidebook instead of the Dusk guidebook. We're going to pull one card to get a bit of a plot going here, and then we will utilize other decks to offer a bit of detail. I guess I do need the deck, don't I? Oops. I took out the book and not the deck. Silly me. Time to, break out the pillow. To promote clarity here. We also have a rainbow fluorite on the table to offer protection as well as clear, concise communication. So here we go, clearing the air. Dear source of all that is, was, and will ever be, I thank you today and each and every day for all that you do and all that you do through me. I call upon you at this time to guide me in summoning the angels of the highest white light, especially Archangel Michael, as well as our ascended masters, for protection, clear, concise communication, and guidance. Thank you so very much for surrounding us in your light and protection throughout our day, being at our side and guiding our words and actions to come from a place of love, clearing our energy and vibration completely of negative thoughts and beliefs, releasing fears and self-limiting beliefs, guiding us to fully and completely experience love, light, and joy that is present in every moment, and guiding our path from our highest, for our highest and greatest good. Blessed ones in whom I live, move, and have my being. From you all things emerge, and unto you they do return. I ask for this day for these cards to be blessed with clarity, love, and wisdom. May it be so, and so it is. So it is. So it is. Alright, now let's go into the Seed and Sickle. Whatever comes out, comes out. And then we will go into another deck to offer a bit more insight. So this is going to be both an insightful and intuitive session. Beginning with Seed and Sickle Oracle. Oh, we're going to do a split for this one. Show you how it's done correctly. 1, 2, 3, 4. Here we go. From Seed and Sickle. Advice and insight from Seed and Sickle. I just made a full pass. Oh. And here we go. We actually had 2 cards came out. Thank you, Source. We have Holly and the Dandelion. So, first thing we're going to do is look into these numbers. Numbers. Yes, I am a numbers girl. Me likey long time with these numbers. Yes. First, we're going to look at the number 47 as an angel number. representing hard work and practicality being aligned with your spiritual growth. Signifying that you are on the right path and encourages you to continue pursuing your goals with dedication and determination. So let's see what the book has to say about Holly. Like the lightning forks of a holly branch, you stand at a fork in the road, a decision for you. Which path will lead you where you want to go, and which may lead you to an unexpected destination or lead you astray? You're running out of time to make your choice, but know that once you've chosen your path, there's no turning back. Make sure you've thought things through carefully. So, with that being said, I am going to now reach for, let's see here. Get these other decks out of the way. I may or may not also reach for them during this session. That is to be determined. I am for sure going to reach for the Angel Tarot to tell us a bit more about this holly and fork in the road and what direction to take. For the collective, what direction to take at this fork in the road, please, coming from the Angel Tarot. Okay, one more shuffle here I just heard. And then we're going to split. One, two, three, four. 3 full splits creates 4 stacks. Here we go. From the Angel Tarot, what direction to go at this fork in the road? What direction to go with this fork in the road? We have the Ace of Air. So this is the Ace of Swords, the Sword of Truth. I'm hearing follow your truth. There is going to be a bit of a challenge for you regardless of what direction you decide to take. But these challenges are cropping up so that you can see the truth in your situation here. Don't give up. Don't give up. With the 3 of Fire combined with that 9 of Fire at the bottom of the deck, this is saying to have patience and protect what you have already created, but continue to also have courage, because as you come to this fork in the road, part of the challenge is going to be the unfamiliarity of being actually able to make long-term plans this time. Whatever direction that you choose is going to open up opportunity for you to actually be able to continue to be courageous and protect what you've created, but to also make long-term plans out of it. So, bring those cards out. Do 2 and then 3 here. So yes, a challenging new beginning. Most new beginnings are challenging because they're not familiar. That's why I said there's going to be this unfamiliarity, but part of that unfamiliarity is for some of you, the first time in your life, even having the opportunity to make long-term plans here. Just believe in yourself. Listen to your intuitions. And again, at the bottom of the deck with the High Priestess also being guided to, it's reaffirming that patience is extremely important at this time. Following your gut when you come to that fork. Tell us a bit more about this fork in the road. Tell us a bit more about this fork in the road. Okay, we have the Knight of Earth, except that it is in reverse. For some of you, these challenges are going to be due to you in the past having the inability to honor your commitments. But nevertheless, you haven't been calling upon your guardian angels, and now may be a great time to do that. We also had the Two of Water. One way or another, beyond the scope of these challenges, you are going to be able to figure out a resolution, nonetheless, with this Two of Water. So challenges nowadays are kind of a given. Like, we don't ever really go into anything new without dealing with some kind of challenge. It could just be a challenge that is both positive and motivating. It's just unfamiliar. Not necessarily anything bad coming your way as a challenge. It's just a challenge. Alright, I'm going to go into this deck one more time for a bit more detail. Here we go. Tell us more about this challenge. Well, interestingly enough, the Knight of Earth, which also typically represents someone who's driven, we have the Emperor, who is beyond driven. Because the Knight of Earth is in reverse, it kind of reduces the Emperor just a little bit. So you're still driven, but not as beyond driven as you would be with that Knight of Earth coming out in reverse. Because the Knight of Earth also represents being dedicated, and something's not, it's just not jiving and jamming here, okay? And that is because with the Emperor coming out, you're being guided to apply more discipline to yourself and to your life. And that too will contribute to your ability to be successful and making long-term plans. Alright, now I'm feeling guided to reach for my bicycle deck for just a bit more detail concerning this fork in the road. And this time, also addressing discipline, patience and discipline. Having patience is a discipline in and of itself. Just saying. Here we go. Out comes the Jack of Clubs that quick. Wow. Yeah, collective is a bit scatterbrained at the moment. And this is where you're being guided to apply more structure and discipline to your life to get back into focus here. Tell us a bit more about getting this discipline and this fork in the road, please. We have the 5 and the 7. Oh, the 5 of Hearts and the 7 of Diamonds. Some of you have been dealing with a bit of a loss of some kind. You've been saddened or dealing with some low-level depression. Disclaimer alert, I am not a doctor. This is not a diagnosis. But Either way, it's even causing you with the Seven of Diamonds to take a new direction with your career. And this also involves, it's not so much your finances that are being affected as it is your spirituality. Like you are dissatisfied spiritually. But taking this new direction in life is going to feel almost like second nature to you. It's just dealing with the grief. It's just dealing with the grief that is not always so familiar. It seems as though, even with lack of discipline, collective, at some point things were going pretty smoothly for you. I just heard, speaking of smoothly, Source just said some of you think you're slickish, IT. And, yeah, time to roll in the emotional and spiritual structure and discipline with that. Thinking you're slick when you're not. Yikes. Tell me a bit more about this fork in the road. Perhaps that attitude is part of what created that fork in the road. Now you have a decision to make that's going to create challenges in the beginning. So, indecisiveness with that Queen of Spades coming out. Lack of efficiency, indecisiveness. At the bottom of the deck, we have the Nine of Diamonds. Some of you would just much rather work alone. You're happy in solitude. You work better in solitude. You feel as though you work better in solitude. So that emotional immaturity comes out when you have to work in groups. Not much of a team player, I see. Yeah, behind that we have the Five of Diamonds. Not having the ability to admit when you actually need help with something. Some of you are about to abandon a situation entirely because it's too much for you. It's too much of a challenge for your emotions. And this is where you have not realized yet that it's on you and up to you to apply more discipline in that arena. 10 of Diamonds. This fork in the road may occur during some kind of get-together. You may realize that you have just ran into a fork in the road during some kind of get-together. Whether it's business, family, doesn't matter. But it does involve, so long as you get organized and apply more structure, especially emotionally and spiritually, then the type of inheritance that you receive is going to be determined on what direction you go. And I'm talking about a spiritual inheritance here, an anointing of some kind, specific to you, to be part of your purpose, your soul's purpose, your path. some of you are actually being guided to step away from traditional methods of doing things in order to break free from that lack of resources. You're going to have to be moving past that stubbornness and being willing to be open to trying new things to make yourself a bit more resourceful here. Tell me a bit more about this 10 and 5 of diamonds here, needing help and not wanting to admit it, and it's blocking your inheritance. Tell us a bit more. What's going on with that? With the Queen of Hearts, I'm getting feeling as though you haven't had anyone to turn to. But that's about to change during this event or gathering that you attend, where you realize, where you awaken to the fact that you are at some kind of fork in the road in your life. Tell me a bit more about this Queen of Hearts, and we have the King of Diamonds. I'm getting as though you've been able to, for the most part, enjoy the fruits of your labor, except you just keep getting that feeling, that overwhelming feeling that there's just not just something missing, but like something's really going on. Like a major part of you is missing here. And that's where the lack of spiritual maturity comes in. All right. Well, let's now go into the dandelion. We have the dandelion and the number 33. So, first things first, we are going to look into the number 33. So acknowledgement for your efforts. That explains a lot. Some of you haven't been getting the right acknowledgement for your efforts. You know what it is? For those of you who are not willing to work as a team, you're just going to have to get past that hump. And that's going to be for you that challenge that you face upon choosing a direction. I'm getting that either direction that you choose, you're going to have to be a bit more of a team player. Fostering teamwork. Otherwise, your knowledge, ability, and creativity is going to continue to be undermined. So let's see what the dandelion has to say from the book. Though the dandelion starts life earthbound and steady, it transforms in the fall into a state where the earth cannot contain it anymore, and it becomes airborne and ready for a new adventure. This card represents being stuck between choices. Whoa! These two cards came out together, one representing a fork in the road and the other one representing choices. So I can see where this session is already starting to come full circle. It'll be interesting what comes out from the bicycle deck pertaining to that. This card represents being stuck, staying rooted to the safety of the ground, or taking flight to new lands. This decision cannot be made lightly. It requires careful consideration and waiting for the right time to achieve results. But the decision must be made all the same. You cannot wait in limbo forever. Wow. So, Bicycle Deck, Source, tell us a bit more about this being caught between a decision, between choices. We have the Six of Diamonds. For some of you, it is simply you are the one who's going to be providing aid, or even for some of you, employment for another. It's just that final decision of who's going to do what, and who's going to stay and who's going to go. Now, for others of you, this is deciding on what type of organization you are going to go with to offer your knowledge and support. And this is where you're most certainly going to be required to be more of a team player. Of course, with the Five of Spades at the bottom, there's going to be a time when you're going to have to walk away from disagreements. And with the Nine of Spades on the other side of the split, there is going to be a bit of restlessness and anxiety. Again, disclaimer alert, not a doctor. This is not a diagnosis. I'm just the messenger. It's coming from the cards. Some of you are just riddled. You're riddled with repetitive thoughts. Perhaps because there was a time when you were bullied or some kind of deception occurred with that Five of Spades when you were asserting your role as a team player, and that is what actually discouraged you, not only from being a team player, but it messed with you spiritually. Some of you may even think as though it was you that did something wrong in terms of right or wrong, and the answer to that is no. What I'm getting is that there was no right and there was no wrong. It was just the inability to agree. Whatever that means to you, something that was or is requiring agreement and being a team player, and it is just not happening. And it's getting in the way of your fulfillment with that Ten of Hearts at the bottom. The King of Hearts comes out. Some of you are dealing with, dang it, some of you are dealing with substance issues. Yeah. Or some other form of addiction where, don't shoot the messenger, but you are the problem. So when, wherever it is, the sadness and the loss may have been brought about by you. I'm not saying that to be a meanie, but that's what's coming through. I'm getting that you made your bed type of, now it's time to, this is where that structure and discipline comes in, because you're going to be seeking guidance. It doesn't necessarily have to be from a full-blown professional, but you're going to be seeking guidance. For the majority of you, it's going to be a friend who, although they have problems of their own, they're still someone that you can turn to. Yes, going into recovery with that Four of Spades. Going into recovery. It's going to be a necessity for some of you, or you're still going to be stuck with that Five of Diamonds type of energy. Lack, destitution, needing help. Some of you don't want to admit, like you don't want to swallow your pride enough to admit that you need help. Perhaps because you were even bullied in the past. Admitting your strongholds. We have a mirroring number, 3003, on the timer as I said that. We're going to look that number up in just a moment. I'm making one more pass through this. We have 2 cards coming out, and we are going to bring this to a close. The 5 of clubs and the 4 of hearts. So much pettiness. So between ignoring the positive aspects of your life and engaging in competition and fights and petty arguments, nobody's working in harmony. It's not just you, but you are contributing. You're contributing to the issue. Now it's your time to contribute to the structure and the discipline so that you can contribute to the resolution. Now let's look up 3003 to close this session. A sign of abundance and prosperity in your financial and career aspects of lives. Well, I already said, like, you're doing fine financially. It's spiritually where the lacking is occurring. A sign that your intentions and desires are coming into alignment with the universe. Well, they haven't been. They haven't been. And for some of you, they still aren't, but they're going to come into alignment. It's time for you to take inspired action towards your goals. So the zeros in 3003 appear representing infinity and wholeness, but they appear in this number indicating that you are actually ready to embrace your spiritual journey. You're the only one thinking that you're not. Just remember that you are never alone. So it hasn't been happening, but your career or business is actually about to take off. And the financial success is within your grasp. And the angels are encouraging you to continue working hard, trusting your vision, and taking inspired action. But you're meant to be taking inspired action as a team in some kind of way. Even if it's just collaborating with 1 or 2 others, that makes a team. I'm hearing that adage, teamwork makes the dream work. So this is also a clear sign that you're just a little out of alignment, and stepping out of your comfort zone of being more comfortable working in solitude versus in a teamwork setting. That seems to be the primary shift. And it seems to also be extremely necessary. And either choice that you end up making during this fork in the road is going to lead you towards a long-term commitment that is going to require teamwork. Period. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. I get it. I prefer to be solo dolo on my missions. But Source is saying No, that's just not how we flow. And don't forget about me. That's Source saying, don't forget about me. The angels saying, don't forget about me. And the perfect partnership about to say, don't forget about me. Do you take care of you, get organized, get some more structure, especially spiritually and emotionally in your life, and then let's do this. I'm talking about mission partners here. This is long-term commitments, not necessarily in a romantic relationship setting, but most certainly something that is going to be long-term, which means somebody's going to have to grow the flux up here. And that's that. 4 of Diamonds at the bottom, being antisocial, holding back from society. I get it. Again, I get it. I like being alone. I like being in the quiet. I like working alone. Blah, 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 blah. I get it. But being antisocial during a time when you're called to honor your mission, your soul's mission, as a team, is all being affected by you holding back. You are getting in your own way. Period. 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 That's what I have for you, beloveds. Thank you so very much for tuning in. I certainly hope these messages find you well. Brightest blessings.